That came out quick.
That was, yeah. It was
Before
just
we-
too perfect.
Before we start, did you know there is a site that takes Bram Stoker's Dracula and mails you every day one of the like chapters because it's done in like a series of letters and like news clippings and stuff?
I did know this. Brittany was aware of it and told me about it. Because I guess the conceit of the novel is it's a bunch of letters from Jonathan or whatever back home.
Yeah, there's
kind
a
of thing.
word for stories told like that I don't remember right now. But
You know what? It makes sense because I'm pretty sure the precursor to what is Stephen King's thing, Salem's Lot.
yeah,
There's like it was written in a similar way. It's like a short story. So he's just tipping his hat to Bram Stoker. But
Apostolary.
how deep in this thing is it? Like, does it take place over years and years?
No, it goes from May 3rd to November 7th.
Oh, okay. So it's
Anyways.
like real time.
Anyways, I signed up for it.
Okay, cool.
So every day I've been getting like a chapter essentially to read in my mail. It's been kind of neat. It's kind of cool.
I'm assuming you watched Renfield and you were like, "Oh
I have not.
man, I don't want the Dracula party to end." So you just Nicolas Cage is in your brain all the time.
No, I haven't yet. I have it ready to go, but I just
bugging.
haven't got to it yet.
Really violent in like a video gamey way. It was
Perfect.
It was really schlocky. It was almost like it's like almost a grindhouse movie. Like this is really trashy sometimes.
That's awesome.
But it was okay. It was okay.
Yeah. You know what
but
else
yeah.
is trashy and kind of violent sometimes?
No. What's that?
Guts in
Yeah,
Berserk
that guy. Crazy.
thing we're talking about. Yeah.
It's true. This volume though, not that violent compared to some of the other ones.
Yep.
And I kind of noticed a thing, but whatever. It kicks off though with wrapping up the sky battle.
I want to do one thing that I keep forgetting to do, just to put it in everybody's mind. Where on volume 32, this came out in Japan in November of 2007 and released in English here in 2009. Just so you get an idea of like the time frame,
Okay.
the year. But yeah, sorry,
2007, great year for movies. I mean, you're probably in a theater watching Eastern Promises or something.
And games, I think. I'm pretty sure 2007 was one of those.
People talk about 07 in a big way, but mostly because of Modern Warfare and like BioShock.
Yes.
And
No,
those are good.
there had to have been more. Wasn't like Mass Effect one of them too? Like
The first one, yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. I'm pretty sure that was also. That's pretty good. You're right.
pretty good year for media, I would say.
Yeah. Including this volume. No, I don't know. Actually, this one kicked off with like a weird, like, what's going on? Is this like a flashback or something? Why is the drawing so sparse in this scene? Like it's kind of Griffith's like underlings talking to each other and stuff. And it's like, what? Like there was like no backgrounds or anything for some.
It's like
of
an
this.
Apple commercial or something. Yeah, just
It's a little
no
weird,
background.
and then it's just like I think he used all of his drawing energy for like the massive invasion parts later, where it's just like, oh, I gotta draw so many dudes. There's so many dudes in this battle. I gotta draw them all. So he saved his resources.
No, he used all his drawing like 3 pages later in the like when we cut back to them like fighting, and there's just line work and color.
You're right, yeah. Like for a couple pages, I was like, I don't know what happened here. Like Mira's sick or something, and it's like, oh, okay, great. Like,
Yeah.
it's not lost. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
But okay. Yes, we resume the fight with Skyface, the Dread Emperor,
Right.
and something kind of crazy happens. 2 mortal foes have to team up. It's kind of like Xavier and Magneto or something.
It's pretty standard trope throughout all media ever.
Except these guys were never friends, so it's a little crazier.
Sure. I wouldn't say these two were ever really enemies in like they're not like nemesis. This isn't Griffith teaming up with him. Like
No, that would make no sense at all to the narrative. Right. No, this kind of reminded me of like when a really gifted spy or something has like an opposite number and they kind of have this respect for each other.
Right.
You know, like it's just like, oh, I'm doing a great job over here in British Secret Service, but my Russian counterpart, I can't help but kind of admire his abilities or something. Like it kind of reminded me of that.
Or if you're from the Mad Magazine generation, white and black.
Exactly. It's like spy versus spy.
Yeah.
And you know, there's threats and things like, I'm going to cut your head off if you don't do what I say. And it's like, I don't think you could, but whatever, fine. Like there was some weird line of just like, your desire to kill makes my neck bristle with ecstasy. Like, all right, Zodd, a little weird, but okay.
Just like weirdly sexual kind of out in like undertones going on.
And I think Zodd's kind of saying like, whatever, like you're just a gnat on my back, I can smack you. And it's like, whatever, you can't do anything against this cloud anyway. And it's like, no, my sword can totally cut mist. All right, we'll try it. So they do this like super attack, like team up to try to slash at like the actual core of the projection or whatever. Like he's sort of projecting his form from afar, but there's like a ethereal form in the center of it, I guess, that they're gonna take a try at.
Right. Okay. I was trying to remember like what the hell they were doing. All I know is that this motherfucker flies in the middle, right between his eyes, of this giant thing's forehead, and it works.
Silly place to be. Yeah, you should probably be like somewhere weird, like left ear or something. Like who would think that, right?
Yeah.
But nope, dead in the middle of the face.
Yeah.
So yeah, they do this crazy like charged up, flying through the lightning, sword out on the back of Zodd thing. And yeah, so anime. I don't know. It's pretty good.
There's so many like metal cover art, or like metal album covers worth of art here of just like Guts with his sword like flying on Zodd through shit and stuff. It's so weird. It's cool though.
But it works. They get him right in the face, and he kind of gets cut, I guess. Like this honestly was reminding me of when Luke does that lame thing in The Last Jedi. But it's better, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah,
weird, like,
he's not
astral projection sort of thing.
It's astral projection, but he actually has like power here. He's like electrocuting stuff and whatever. Like he's struck Guts a bunch of times in the
He's
last
not just
volume.
a weird hologram that like.
It's like, haha, I tricked you. I'm not even here. I couldn't even make it. Right. And then he still dies for some reason. Wow, what a movie! I saw a guy on TV basketball game wearing a Last Jedi shirt, and I was mad at him. I was like, "What are you doing?
Good for that.
Why would you celebrate this?"
That's the one guy. Yeah, no, but like that guy is clearly doesn't have all his faculties. Be kind,
confident. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever.
Doesn't. Yeah, he's not all there. Leave him alone.
Sure. Sorry. Like it's not my least favorite of those three, but it still galls me a little bit.
Dude,
anyway.
It's not your least favorite of those three because that third movie is one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my fucking life.
It was really bad. I watched it the same week as Cats, and I have worse memories of The Rise of Skywalker.
I've heard Cats had some like decency to it.
It has a delightful madness to it. It's really bad, but in a way I was enjoying. So
that delightful madness is like basically a term I've heard referred to that. So that makes sense to me.
It's just like, I don't know why you made this or did it like this, but that's a crazy thing. So hey. Sure. Anyways. So they strike him in the center of the head. The cloud kind of dissipates. We cut back to like the Kushan castle or wherever, and he's like, oh, and he's bleeding from the forehead.
And actually, I forgot that he's like astral projecting. That isn't him. I forgot that.
Yeah, I mean, the nature of kind of that thing is kind of elaborated on a bit too with Shirka at the end of this. Kind of they have the ability to do this in a similar way.
Right.
So yeah, just the ethereal weirdness. We kind of see how that works a little more. But okay, so what's the next beat? Like basically Guts is just totally wiped out from this situation. And he like in this team up though, they kind of promise like we'll finish our fight after this. Like we got to deal with this.
Yeah, the way I remember this ending is that like they're kind of squabbling. Like obviously, first of all, this fucked both of them up, but Zodd, I'm not sure Zodd can actually be killed. Like he is,
I don't know.
He
can lose a horn. Like
he
that
could
happened.
lose pieces of himself, but I'm pretty sure there were stories earlier of like, oh yeah, like he just can't be killed. He's immortal, and this stuff like this seems to maybe like lend credence to that. Anyways, after that stuff, I remember there's like a big to do about Guts like saying like, hey, we're not finished yet, and like barely being able to like stand using his sword as like a crutch essentially.
Yeah,
and,
he kind of like, I was reading this as like he sort of bluffs that I'll still fight you, and
yes.
like stands up and like asks about Griffith though, and then that kind of changes the color of the conversation a bit. Zodd is kind of like, oh, hold on, if you're seriously going to attack him when he shows up, like we'll just rip you to pieces.
Like right now, yeah.
Yeah. And then they kind of both stare at each other, and then it's like, all right, get out of here, you so-and-so.
No, Serpico breaks them up.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He steps in front and breaks the tension or something. Like, it kind of dissipates. And then, like, a weird monster shows up and is just like, wait a minute, that guy's branded. We should eat that guy.
And then he just, like, rips his head off or something. Yeah, he
squashes, kind of clamps his head and says, like, no, we're not here to indulge our desires or whatever. We're here doing work for the boss or whatever kind of thing. And then they leave.
Yeah.
Like, no, we're just softening up the Kushan Empire or whatever. We got to get out of here. So then they fly away. And then Guts just falls over. Like, he's totally toasted. I guess kind of looking at this is like he has like 2 HP left or something, but he's still acting all tough. Like, he's like, no, I could take you. And it's like, all right, thank God, because I was lying. Like, I just had to be cool.
I was thinking it in terms of, have you ever played a game with like, or I mean, yeah, I know you've played games like this where you have an ability or a perk or something where if you take so much damage that like it would kill you, you're left with 1 HP instead, like a second wind or like last stand sort of ability or something.
Sure, like mostly in like a turn-based RPG or something, but yeah,
like he popped that.
You have some sort of talisman or something that lets you stay alive.
Yeah,
but yeah,
he's at 1 HP.
barely at it. I was also like on the drive today, like just driving around lunchtime, I was thinking about Halo for some reason.
Okay.
I was like,
his shields are down.
I was wondering if like Zodd would actually want to fight him in this state, because it's kind of like that respect for your opponent thing. Like, it's just like, no, we should have a real fight later when we're ready to actually trade blows. Like, it's kind of when you run up on like the best guy on the opposite team and like he's been softened up by like 7 people and then you get the kill. There's no honor in it. It's not anything. Right. So yeah, it's kind of just like, no, we'll save it for like a real awesome thing later.
Totally. That's totally what it is, because you're right. There is that moment of like, oh, if you're actually going to like pretend to be a problem, then I like my job is
I
to
have
you
to
right
kill
now.
you.
Yeah, I will kill you. Yeah.
And then in this kind of passed out state, like he's getting carried to the boat or whatever by the rest of the party. Like I think Griffith and him glimpse each other from like afar. I'm not 100% on Griffith seeing him, but maybe because like the drawing is his eyes staring right out at you. But I don't know. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's way far away. It's like him arriving in the city to do his business, and he's actually most of this volume. So I guess our prediction was right last time. We're like, I think Griffith's going to show up. Seems like the stage is set. And yes, he does.
This whole volume is very Golden Age-esque in how it's laid out. Like, very much so.
Yeah, it's big kind of ladder climbing for Griffith. And I don't exactly take issue with how it plays out, but it kind of felt like this has to happen. Like, this is plot stuff, and it can't be too crazy right now, because it would kind of ruin the whole thing for people if they saw like messed up monsters or anything. It has to be kind of low key. But we'll get to that in a second, I guess.
Sure. So the idea is this is the war like thing now. Is
the massive invasion.
The remaining Midland armies are together. The demons or whatever they think, the Kushan demons, I should specify, are like closing in on them, and I think they actually start fighting and are losing. And then in classic like Golden Age style, Band of the Hawk things. They get flanked by like a super strong force that they weren't expecting, and like
it kind of starts with like minor things though. Like it's like there's like 250,000 troops or something like descending upon Midland, and it's just going to crush everybody. Like it's totally overwhelming forces or whatever. But then suddenly like a bunch of like leaders and like the general and stuff of the Kushan like suddenly start flying apart. Yeah. And we get like the bowman guy like from way far away is like sniping people with his soul bow with the big eye on it, like arrows. And there's just nuts drawings here of just like, my eyes, my nose, like just pieces flaying off these people from like a mile away. Yeah. And then the kind of like trickstery guy, like the guy that kind of reminds me of No Face, but he's sinister and evil. He starts like messing with their war elephants and like there's stampeding going on and stuff. So it kind of creates this disarray in the forces, and they pause their assault. Like it's like, whoa, hey, hold up, something weird's happening. And then the Band of the Hawk breaks through, and like it's a small force, but they're monsters. So this was a scene though that I felt was kind of weird because it was basically just like medieval combat. Yeah. Because it can't get too crazy with like them morphing into their apostle forms and like freaking everybody out. So they're just kind of tough soldiers. Like they're lancing through like 12 guys' heads at a time. Like that's pretty crazy. But like it's like the Koshan forces on the ground are like, whoa, what are these guys? They're like crazy monsters. But from afar, I don't know that the Midlanders really get what's happening. They're just kind of like, oh, thank goodness the Hawk are here. That's crazy. And
it's kind of interesting too, because like maybe it would be like more crazy if there were this kind of happened before. Like now they are legitimate demons with superpowers, but like how long ago was it? Like 10 years, let's say 10 years, 5 years, whatever it was, the Golden Age stuff. I don't think it wasn't too long because people still know about them and remember them. It like they kind of fought like they were demonic, right? Like they had the guy that killed 100 men with his sword. Like,
they had fearsome warriors for sure. Yeah, so it has to kind of resemble that. I feel for like everybody to feel good about it,
right?
But there's still some misgivings and kind of like I don't know, like from some of the characters we get here once they get a good look and like see things a little clearer. But the Kushan guys are just getting roasted. Like Zodd's staying in human form here, and he's just kind of dual wielding, like hacking and slashing people.
He's gutsing.
I was kind of wondering about the immortality thing you were saying, because like I seem to remember the legends of his prowess on the battlefield were like 300 years or something. So I don't know. Like Skull Knight's definitely run into him before, but he's been around for maybe 1,000. I don't know, like the timelines. Sure. So it's hard to say, or he could have just been in some other form, or I don't know. Yeah, it's hard to say. But anyway, okay, so Hawk sweeps in, starts killing all these dudes. They just kind of cut right through to the mobile temple or whatever that the Emperor's in, and like Griffith just walks right in.
They pulled this maneuver in the Golden Age, I believe. This is
just plunge right to the commanders kind of thing?
Like the Band of the Hawk fighting or whatever, and then one group I think it was led by Guts or whatever, the captain and his men or whatever go around flank and basically just like fuck shit up or something. Like I think it's a similar maneuver.
Go like threaten the king and he'll call it off. Like is kind of the play, right?
The idea is like cut right to the head of all of it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and they have the power to call retreat, which does happen here. But I was kind of wondering if like Griffith was being truthful. Like he's sort of talking about like, yeah, I guess we're at a stalemate. And I'm like, I don't know that a God Hand guy is actually not capable of just smoking this guy. But I think it plays maybe against his plan to climb up to the top, and rule Midland or whatever's about to happen. Like he can't just monster it up right now, is what I'm kind of thinking. So yeah,
possibly. There's something. Okay, this is actually the first time, I've kind of wondered, like, oh, maybe Griffith is, like, actually really scary, because the Ganishka or whatever, the Emperor, was like, what is this? Like, this is my enemy. This is him right here. And, like, I feel like my blood burning and I'm trembling. Like, he can't, like, deal with it or something. And it's like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you kind of get his interior thinking. It's like, what's happening? I'm trembling. And then it's like Griffith hears him or something. It's just like, oh, that's instinct. That's your demon blood, like, responding to its true master or whatever kind of thing. It's like, okay.
That's crazy.
Yeah. He's crazy confident about it. It's like, so yeah, when he's kind of being, like, diplomatic about, like, yeah, I think we're at a stalemate here. It's like, I think you could totally squish him like nothing, but you can't right now to play the game you're playing or whatever. So they agree to settle it here, like, to have a battle later, it seems like. But in the meantime, all the forces are called off and there's a retreat and stuff. And then Griffith gets to do this great, like, power play with all the Midland elites and whatever, which, despite knowing how evil Griffith is, I was still like, you know what? This is still great, though. There's something blue collar about this in a really screwed up way, where it's just like, oh, sure, I'm not born of royalty, but guess what? Like, I'm taking over, and there's nothing you can do to all these kind of smug assholes. It was pretty funny. I noticed this time, like, I paged through it again today to just refresh a little bit.
Yeah.
This kind of 1-2 punch he does is in 2 different issues, so it wouldn't have read the same way as I was doing it, but it was really funny to me how he's just like, how about this? And how about this? Like, he has, like, 2 cards to play, and it's just like, oh! But,
Yeah, this is definitely the, like, Griffith climbing the ladder for the final time. Like, this is where he kind of ends this volume with, like, oh, he got his kingdom. Like,
like, last time they did this as humans, he got to be, like, a general or whatever, despite being a commoner, and that was much grumbling amongst these people.
Yeah.
And then that's, you know, they put him in the prison for a year and all that. This time, it's just like, like, people come up to challenge him or whatever. It's just like, wait, you're not of royal blood. What are you going to do? It's like, oh, I'm betrothed to the princess, the person you were just talking about. Oh, okay, well, but what about the Holy Church, huh? You know, and then it's like, yeah, also the Pope is here and he endorses me fully too. Oh, like, it just kind of blows everybody's minds. It was really funny.
Yeah, it's really good. And, like, fuck all of them. They get what they deserve for sure.
One of them's, like, Farnese's dad, right? Like, the leader of the banks and everything.
Yeah.
Like, he's at the center of this kind of kind of nervously, like, seeing their power slip away or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, the Pope comes out, he prostrates himself before him and is just like, oh, put all your hopes on this guy. This is the guy right here. This is the hawk. Remember that dream you had? And then everybody's like, oh yeah, I had a dream about glowing bird and I didn't know what it meant, but this is this guy. Oh, so, like, the spell is cast or whatever over Midland.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I was saying, like, where if he was in full crazy demon form or, like, his soldiers look too gnarly, it would kind of ruin the illusion or whatever. This is, like, part of the game. Is playing it a little close to the vest or whatever. Which doesn't give me crazy monster battles this time, but we've had so many that I can't get greedy. So, yeah.
I mean,
I'll settle for Age of Empires 2.
I still kind of want it, though, right? Like, I still kind of want
a little
big battle. The most we get is that the Emperor dude, like, turns into his big form, and then Griffith, like, summons a gust of wind to, like, dissipate him or something. It's just
they kind of, all of his, like, apostle soldiers, like, rip the roof off this place, like, off the mobile temple or whatever. And it's just kind of like, oh, I smell the sea. And then the wind starts blowing in and, like, starts, really making it difficult for him to maintain his form.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's like, did he, like, see through my tricks? Like, I don't know. And, yeah, so I'm pretty sure he's at his mercy, really, but they're going to still settle this, like, somehow, like, under cover of darkness or quietly have a fight out of prying eyes or something. I don't know what we're going to get next time. But probably some femto action. I don't know. But, yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if femto, like, he must exist because the demon blood calls out to him, like, or whatever.
Well, I'd feel it's kind of like when you go into your apostle form or whatever, but he doesn't need to most of the time.
Right.
I think I was also marveling at, like, what's the deal with Griffith's horse? He just has, like, an equally majestic horse to match his whole thing. But it's like, what is that thing? Is that a special thing, or did he just find a really cool horse? Like, is it a summon or something? Like, what is that? But I don't know.
Yeah,
it was the thought that came to me, because, like, there's people staring at Griffith and it's like, he was, like, really striking before, but he's, like, weird now. Like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Like, there's kind of interior thoughts from people who are just like, what a beautiful man. Like, I don't know what's happening. So
it's like when somebody you've known for a long time gets, like, new teeth or something and they're just a little too white. You're just like, there's something
unnatural,
unnaturally majestic. Yeah.
I did like when he summons the sea wind or whatever to dissipate the, like, cloud form. His hair is also blowing in a very like extra halo-y way or whatever.
Yeah, the classic, like, Griffith hair just kind of everywhere and melding into the whiteness of the sun and shit is everywhere here.
Yeah, so very, very majestic looking. And yeah, Charlotte's stoked to, you know, be betrothed and everything. I think there's, like, exchanges of glances going on. Like, Sonya's still, like, you know, jealous or whatever, but we don't really get much of that. She's escorting the Pope in that situation, along with Mule. Is that his name?
Mule. Yeah. Yep.
Great. All right.
There's kind of a weird thing at the very beginning too, in the flashback where Zodd is, like, thinking about talking with his buddies or whatever, the other generals or in Griffith's army. Sonya says something about, like, can she see the future? Because she, like, prophesizes, like, using, like, your foe as your weapon or something. And, like, so, like, does she know about, she seems to be very, like, good with the mind stuff and, like, reading people's minds.
Some sort of soothsaying or something. Like, she kind of showed Shirka the runes of the city before it happened, you know? So I feel somehow she has
knows about
some
Griffith
glimpse of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I think she knows more than, like, we maybe are supposed to think she knows currently.
Yeah, I'm not really sure why or how that would work with the rules of magic in this world. Like,
she, like, specializes in time and psychic magic,
or that causality. Like, she can see the room. It's like Donnie Darko. She sees these like watery tendrils everywhere that show
Gary Jules playing when she's, like, looking around and stuff. Yeah, I get
probably. If they do a volume with, like, her point of view or something, we'll see what's going on.
Yeah.
But okay. I guess we kind of. I guess that's that with that, right? He makes this big power play, this dual prong thing. Like, he has the church in his pocket, he has the royalty in his pocket. Cut back to our ship sailing with the party on board, heading out to Elfhelm or whatever.
Including, and we just get, like,
a little thing,
who was the stowaway, and they took his boat to get to the ship.
He's still there, but he never removes his helmet. Like, he has some sort of weird, like, profound embarrassment that he got fired from the Holy See or whatever, so I think he's keeping his identity under wraps, but people know. It's weird. There's, like, some internal thinking of his. There's, like, I can't show my face. I'm so.
No, there is a weird thing where they, like, say somebody says his name or something, or, like, they make mention of him.
It's like, hey, you're that knight. And it's like, what? Like.
No, he says his name is, like, the Mustache Knight. Like, what do you mean? I'm the Mustache Knight. Yeah, it's weird.
It's weird that he's being cagey about it, because it's like, what? Like, you were just, you know, you were at the Echo of the Eclipse or whatever. Like, we remember you. It's like, no, that's some other guy. But he's like sparring with Isidro, hits him in the nuts. You know, it's hilarious comedy. And at some point, I don't know if it was, I feel like it was, Puck says this really early. I wrote it down. I don't know what it means. He says dust deficit at one point. I just want to say I don't know what that means. Just now that we're talking about
deficit.
Dust deficit. Not sure what he's alluding to or getting at with that. But anyway, The party's kind of horsing around really early. I think it's like in the aftermath of the Zodd like Dread Emperor situation. Like it's an odd thing. Like when they're going to the boat, I think it's when they're picking up Guts and trying to get out of there. He says something weird, and I didn't understand what he was talking about. Okay. Unless it's like, you know what? Okay, here's the theory.
Yeah.
They have healing dust, right? Maybe it's like we can't.
That's
heal,
what it is.
We can't heal like Guts quickly this time. We don't have enough dust.
They say it probably when they're dragging him into the boat because he like is gone, like he's unconscious or whatever, maybe.
Right. So it's like this one's going to take a while. I guess that's probably what it means. I just need to think it through.
Yeah.
Like,
okay.
The context a little better. in the moment, I was like, what? So okay. Back to the ship. Wounds are healing and things. Farnese and Shirka are kind of like continuing their lessons and they practice astral like projection, kind of like where they're leaving their bodies and flying around. And
yeah, she does for the first time. This is kind of Farnese's big like, you've been waxing my car and like painting the fence and whatever. This is the moment of why you were like imagining this apple for so long.
Yes, that's right. That's like, all right. And she's still not like great at it. She keeps talking to like the kind of quiet body of Shirka instead of her astral form or whatever. Like there was kind of odd, like still not quite getting it because like I'm not there, I'm over here, remember, like we're flying around. But they actually leave the cabin and start flying around the ship and stuff. And this is one of two things I was like, oh, weird, like Casca seems to see them in this form,
and so does Guts, neat. I think they both look it ends with them both looking over the ship, like what's it called? Starboard? No, it's the front. Anyways, yes, they both look where they're flying, is what I'm saying.
Okay, astern. I don't know. Maybe. But yes, yeah, maybe because they're branded, like they're kind of in between worlds or whatever, like that might be what it is.
Right.
But yeah, Casca has a big reaction to it. She was also earlier, like, maybe it's just because Zodd is scary, but she was kind of like trembling and like freaked out by Zodd in a way that's like, does she remember him? Or is it just, that's a big scary monster? Like, is it that basic, you know?
Right. Yeah.
So I keep wondering kind of what her state is. But she can see ethereal forms, so that's kind of cool. Maybe they can find her ethereal form and talk to her. Like, I don't know how we're going to path back to Casca, you know?
But, I want her back so bad. It's like,
it's got to be soon, right? There's only like 9 volumes left, so
if she comes back.
No, she's got to come back, right?
Well, I mean, I would have thought so by now. It's been a while, man. It's been a while. Like,
20
hold
volumes or something. It's been a long time.
It was the end of the Golden Age, right?
I mean, yeah, like since the eclipse and reflecting on that, yeah.
So, the one who hunts... Okay, she already was in the one who hunts dragons.
It's like 18 volumes or something.
So, all of the bad stuff happened in March of 1997. That's when that was really... The volume of the eclipse was March 1997.
Okay. So, a decade of
dumbass. Fucking Elaine, yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah. She doesn't have too many, like, goofy moments in this one, or it's like, grrr, or anything. It's just, you know.
Yeah.
She's just kind of checked out or whatever.
Actually, we've had way more time with her as Elaine than we have Casca. By a lot.
Unfortunately, yeah, that's true. So, yeah, my Twin Peaks comparison is kind of falling apart, because it's like, what if Dale Cooper just was like this for most of the show?
Except for, like 2 episodes of, like, all
ever.
of it.
And he was so fun in those, but that was a long time ago. Yeah, no.
We're at the point now where this is actually the character, and the other stuff was just, like, the weird version of her.
Yeah. Anyway, hopefully she gets it back. But it kind of ends on that. Like, it's just them sailing out. They're finally going to get to their destination, I guess. What is it they're trying to, like, get at in Elfhelm? Like, they're trying to fix her, right? That's the whole thing.
Apparently, the King Elf has powers that could probably do it, because he's super powerful.
Okay. Okay.
Which makes sense, I guess. Like,
yeah.
They have magical healing powder that, like, can heal people. So if somebody, like, creates that type of magic or whatever, it's probably pretty good.
Yeah, no dust deficit there. He's got all the dust.
All of the dust.
Yeah, I guess
fucking Scarface of elves.
Yeah. And that's what's up next time. So stop if you're reading this first, is what I found on the next page, and that was it. So, yeah. Questions, I guess? We got
I have 2 emails.
Queries?
And they're from the same person, but I mean, we skipped a week, so we might as well take them both, right?
Yeah.
All right. So from Antonio, thank you for listening, as always. Okay, ahoy there, Band of the Barrel. Sorry it's been a bit since I wrote in. Life finds a way to get in the way. This wasn't really to ask a question. It was more so to wish you guys a good week. Hopefully cheer you on through the struggle. I know what you guys do may not seem like much, but to random people like me, this podcast and the episodes you record help lighten the otherwise not as happy or great times of the week. Just know that we enjoy the talks and you make many of us happy. Didn't mean to get overly sappy, but yeah, thanks and keep on berserking. Ding ding. The good ship berserk.
Oh, all right. Like a bell on a ship or something.
Yeah.
Or I was thinking of boxing, but that's not really. I guess Griffith versus Guts.
Yeah.
But whatever, like a fight poster. Yeah. I will say I did go to the Comic-Con recently, and there was a little bit of like
berserk?
Guts art around. Like, now that I know what I'm seeing when I see stuff like that, I was kind of curious how much of that stuff's going around. But anyway, sorry. Thank you, Antonio. Like, it has been a struggle, hence why this one's late. But we managed to get behind the microphone again. So
I mean,
hooray.
We're both adults that have lives. Like, it happens.
Yeah, I was at the hospital today getting a consultation for my like procedure. So
yeah,
it's fun. Yeah,
that is fun.
It was okay. I had like treated myself to a fun lunch after.
I was gonna say, did you have like a burrito or something to make up for it? Like
soup and sandwich, but it was garden medley, they called it, and it was a good vegetable soup.
Okay.
Yeah, and turkey like kind of melt. So yeah, it was good.
You know what's brutal is recently, because of course I've been noticing this stuff recently now. One of these like figure companies that makes figures teamed up to make with like this IP to make Berserk figures, and now I'm wondering, do I do it? Do I order 2 Berserk figures? One is Guts and the other is Griffith.
Okay.
Which of course makes sense, right?
Well, yeah.
Guts in his Berserker armor, fully like
that was mostly what I was seeing was Berserker armor, like posters and paintings and stuff. It's like, no, it's cool. I just kind of like, I thought with kind of the soulsiness to some of the art, like you'd get monsters or Shirka or something, but I don't know.
The Griffith one has his horse.
See, this horse is important. I'm telling you, there's going to be some big horse reveals. I don't know. It's majestic. It's a majestic horse.
What's the most you would spend on a Berserk thing? Like, I guess we'll say figure. We'll say artwork too. The most.
Oh man. I'm not. I'm trying to think what it would be that would like. Yes, I love this part so much. I want a thing of it. You know, like I eventually got a Gravelord Nito poster from Dark Souls because I just think he's great. Brittany got it for me, but I kept talking about him, so that's how that happened. So whatever that cost, maybe times 2 for like a great monster or something, or a Bahilit or something really weird. If you know what? Oh, like I have this little stone skull. If I could get a little like carved stone Bahilit, maybe $100. I don't know. It'd be really if it's really good. You know? Yeah.
I just looked up the price for Guts in his armor. Do you want to take a guess at how much it is?
Is this like a recently created thing?
I mean, pre-orders are open now. It releases in September of this year.
How tall is it, I guess?
That is a good question. I'm seeing if it says here. I mean, it must.
I don't know.
160 millimeters.
Oh man. Okay, 16 centimeters. Okay,
it's about 6 inches.
Actually, I have a ruler right here, so
it's about
that
6
shouldn't
inches.
be too much. I'm gonna say $80.
Okay, I am converting it. This is in yen.
Okay,
So I'm converting it to Canadian for us specifically, since we're Canadian. Okay.
I didn't want to cheap out on this bet. I would obviously prefer it cost way less. But yeah.
Wow, the yen has gone down a lot. Holy shit.
Okay.
Because we're pretty close on par now. And when I went there, we were not very close.
How many thousand yen is it, I guess? Then we can just think about it.
Okay, it is 10,450 yen.
Oh, okay.
So when I traveled, I just did the math in my head of, okay, that's probably about $110.
Yeah.
But like, it was usually a little bit more, but like just to round it out in my head. This is $103.40 Canadian. So.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's pretty close.
A little bit stronger, actually. That's weird.
That's way stronger than when I went. I got fucked. So
I know Shinzo Abe was assassinated, but I don't know. I don't know what happened.
That was brutal too.
I couldn't believe that. That was
so bad.
Wait, what? I kept reading news stories with that guy, and now he's been killed. That's crazy. But,
that was so bad by a homemade shotgun.
Huh.
Right?
Japan, occasionally they'll surprise you. So I don't know. Wow.
Man, I might spend $200 to order these. I might do it. Jesus.
Those two guys, yeah. I want.
They're kind of the guys.
Stone. Who is this? Who's doing the figures?
It's a company named. I just want to see. Tamashi Nations.
Okay.
So I guess if anybody wants to check it out, it's tamashiweb.com. TAMASHII web WEB.com.
Oh, I'm assuming Griffith's got his helmet and everything.
Yeah, they're the type of figures where they're posable and they have different faces depending on what action you want to put them in or whatever, what pose.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No Nina though, I guess. Hey, that's too bad.
Not yet.
Oh.
Maybe the side
character.
That
seems more like it would be a gross pillowcase or something. Which there definitely was a bunch of those at the convention.
Of Nina?
No, but just all sorts of characters. Yeah, Persona characters and stuff. It's just man, this booth is weird. We got to put little.
You didn't buy
paper.
any, did you?
No, I did not.
Bummer.
I felt embarrassed to even hang out around that booth. I was like, I can't fall into this hole. This is bad.
I get it.
Yeah. Anyway, email to, I guess. We haven't said the address yet either. What if people want to send in things? I'm pretty sure it's I have gone berserk at gmail.com.
You're 100% correct.
That's right.
I've gone berserk at gmail.com is where Antonio sent this other one that says, Hey there, Band of the Barrel. I wrote in to ask the following question. If you could make a game related to Berserk, what genre would it be? I know the usual go-to would be Souls-like, but have you considered a Berserk dating sim? What about a Tetris spin-off? If I know Paul, I'm sure he would appreciate a card game based on his favorite characters, maybe even a magic crossover, or some horror. Kids love their Resident Evils, so why not? Anyways, I hope you guys have a good day, night, morning, and keep on berserking. Ding, ding.
Okay.
Dating sim would be fun for just an indie Flash thing or something. I would probably play that, but not
or I guess HTML5 now because we can't do the Flash anymore.
Sure. I wouldn't buy that for $40 or something. I wouldn't buy a dating sim for Berserk. Probably.
Okay.
No, I probably
just weird
would.
Demons in it. No. Whatever that God hand lady is made of guts.
Oh, I mean, no. If you're doing anything with Slan, it ain't dating.
No, she's but anyway. I was thinking about an Odama follow up. It's battle pinball, Just
Okay.
I think kind of riffing on the Tetris idea, because if it was Tetris, I'd imagine it would be like a battlefield. Like in this volume, there was actually like an arrow of like cavalry or whatever.
Yeah.
Like it'd just be like shapes that are soldiers, and then you're trying to like destroy an army or a castle or something.
Yeah.
But honestly, I was thinking like with the 100-man thing, it would probably be like a Dynasty Warriors type game.
That exists.
Okay, is that what that Dreamcast game is?
No,
It's like,
no, it's that I'm like PC. I think it's on like 360 or whatever as well. The most recent one. I think it's
99
just called
Nights style.
Band of the Hawk or something. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it just seems like that would be an easy, faceless soldier stuff, like
Yeah.
slashing a bunch of guys. Not that that's like the best thing, but I mean, like, Souls is fairly serious about your button presses and, timing and all this. Like, you could also maybe just do a Devil May Cry style character action game.
I was thinking even just like a standard JRPG sort of thing, turn-based would work totally
just
fine.
get those crazy monsters in there.
Yep.
I'm trying to think what era it would, like, ideally before the eclipse, so you have like a party of dudes. But I guess you could have like Serpico and Shirka and Farnese and everything, right?
Berserk Kart Racer. That's actually what we need.
He's playing some Mario Kart 8 again this week. So sure, yeah, just throw really angry and then just like the weirdest battlefield race courses or something.
Like one race course would be the Eclipse for sure.
Ugh. Yeah.
I know, but like that it would be themed. I guess I should say themed around stuff like the Eclipse is one. Probably I can't even remember his name now, but the Heretic Tower one or whatever. The you remember his name? The Inquisitor guy.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I'm like, no, but yes, I know what you mean.
Yeah, he would be
the fire-breathing guy. Oh, what's his name?
That stage would be like you going through a dungeon and then like up a tower, jumping off and like going into like a field with a bunch of pillars with witches burning on them or something. Like that whole area.
What was that racing game with like destructible environments that would change the racetrack? Like
Blur.
Split Second, I think is what it was.
Yeah,
yeah.
Split Second,
Like it's just I'm just thinking like, like for the third lap, like the God Hand comes up and you have to like ramp off it or something stupid.
It would be pretty sick, honestly.
Yeah. But
Clip
like,
or whatever.
Eclipse is happening like after lap 2, and then there's just like demons everywhere.
Oh man, that one place where like Shirke is powering up and then she floods it or whatever with all the goblins.
Flood like the
lap 3.
What is that creature called? that was part of that.
The Kelpie. Yeah, the Kelpie.
That activates and floods everything.
The Clipnoth or Clipfoth or whatever the fuck it was called would probably be
I know it's a silly genre, so it's not actually a great fit, but I do like kart racing games.
I love kart racing games. Yeah, they're fun.
Yeah, that Sonic Racing Transformed or whatever is pretty good.
Bloodborne kart racer should be out soon, hopefully.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, in that spirit, I guess that would work too.
Yeah.
But
card game would work. Like card game would be easy.
Probably focus on the sword fighting though. I mean, it's the easiest verb that they have in that. But yeah, I guess cards like deck building, different creatures, different knights. I don't know.
A horror game that takes place where you are just like a dude trying to survive the eclipse happening or like something like that happening in your town and you're like trying to get out would be pretty good.
Yeah, honestly, anything where it's just like you are branded and monsters just keep happening. Like,
yeah.
That's a video game. But,
there's that They Are Millions or whatever, billions or whatever, where you're just like, it's a town builder, but you are consistently attacked by shit the whole time and like hordes and hordes of enemies.
And now I'm just thinking of like Berserk Survivors or something, and it's just Vampire Survivors, but it's like a gut sprite, and the monsters are more insane looking. But yeah.
And then of course like the millions of hentai like puzzle games where after you put a puzzle together, Casca shows you her feet.
Oh, Naked Farnese's back there. Yeah.
Yeah. Easy. Easy money.
Kicks, I guess, or what is it? Kicks is one that works well for that, or like Breakout.
Yeah.
So
Breakout. Yeah.
That probably exists. Like there's some seedy corner in Japan where someone threw a JPEG in a thing, and like that's just somewhere.
And if it doesn't, like maybe I'll make it. I don't know.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. The drawings are in the manga, so you just grab those.
Right. Exactly.
It would be that sword one. That was weird. But
strangely hot.
Yeah. So that's the Miura touch. That's the magic.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I was Nathan. This is Paul.
That was
Thanks
me.
for joining us. Yeah, I realized we didn't introduce ourselves, but hopefully you know because it's like episode 32. But yeah, thanks for visiting the good ship Berserk, and we're literally on a ship right now in this volume.
Yeah, so it works
perfect.
out.
Yeah.
Ding ding.
Ding ding. That's what Apollo Creed says when he's sparring with Rocky.